What is up, guys? Welcome to another video. We are getting ready to go live with Nova Southeastern University. We're talking about adolescence, early adulthood, the terrifying fear that is instilled on many parents as that approaches, and we're going to be chatting about that. So I'm glad that you can join us. This is recorded after the fact, of course. This is not currently live. If you want to catch these live streams, make sure you follow us on Facebook. Also check out @Fischler.edu, Nova Southeastern University. Here we go. So guys, today we are talking about early adolescence. We are talking about approaching adulthood type of stuff with your teenagers, soon to be teenagers. I know with our daughter, it started to get real serious in the preteen years. We're like, oh boy, that here it comes. This was what's happening. We're getting the emotions and everything going on, and it was terrifying. And I think a lot of parents that I have heard have echoed the same thing. We've heard the same thing from them. So if you do have questions on the topic, definitely comment down below. Let us know. We would love to answer your questions on some of this stuff. We still face that fear on a daily basis. I feel like it's been a few years we've been doing this, and it's still like daily. It seems to be we get a curveball, all the time. I don't want to like scare people with it. Is right. The biggest thing. It's one of those things like be scared, but don't be scared. Like, and I say that because you can handle it, and that's like we can handle it. We handled it,
right?
And we never knew what was coming. We're always like, well, whatever happens, happens, and we'll deal with it when it happens. And as Abigail got older and she started maturing, and we went from where like she would never leave us alone to where all of a sudden she was going up in her room and sitting on her couch and listening to music and rocking and stuff. And typical like teenager behavior as far as that goes, like wanting to be away from mom and dad. And we're like, oh, this is nice, and then we're like, we never see our kid.
Yeah.
So and it constantly changes. It's never consistent, and I think that is across the board with all teenagers, though, with all children going into adolescence. Isaiah was the same way.
Right.
I think that's my biggest takeaway from it is that it's the same with a neurotypical child as it is with an autistic child, as it is with anybody else. There are just certain things that can be more extreme in certain situations.
Mm-hmm. And I think, some of the things we're getting ready to have a big transition with Abigail for school next year. So she's considered an 8th grader right now, going into 9th grade next year. And so one of the things that they work on at her school is, with her personally, is life skills. And so with some of those life skills, they're going to have a new program called Step Up or
yeah, so there's
program.
The STEP program, but there's Step Up, Step In, Step Out.
Yeah.
I think of the 3 tiers.
And so Abby's going to be starting that next year. So we are actually going to be transitioning into something else.
Right.
And I'm excited for her, though. I think if we keep Abigail busy, she does really well.
Yeah.
And I think that's going to just give her that sense of accomplishment.
Yeah. Well, and I think in being in a classroom with peers who are all on that level, while it's probably quite challenging for the teachers and therapists, it's because they're all adolescents, they're all dealing with the same thing. It also helps them, I think, individually as a student, just being in a classroom full of peers.
Right.
Whether it be neurotypical peers or autistic peers, regardless, because there's a lot of uncertainty in that situation.
Mm-hmm.
For not just for the parents and the caregivers and the teachers, but then for the kids too. Imagine, it's like everything's changing, my body's changing, my emotions are just out of whack, I can't control myself.
Right.
And that's a typical child. And then you throw autism in the mix, and we talk about all the time how Abigail, everything is external for her. She may have...
Can we cancel that and maybe try again?
Sure.
Okay, that would work.
So, she may have the same emotions and feelings that a neurotypical young lady would be having, but because she doesn't possess that filter,
right,
it's all external. So it gets when she feels like crying, she cries. When she's just overjoyed with excitement, she's really over the top with excitement.
Yeah.
So, I don't want to say it's any worse or any better than with a typical child. It's just different and sometimes a little more extreme because of the lack of a filter.
Right, I agree. Yeah. So one of the classes that we've been working with Nova Southeast guys is the Intellectual Disabilities Master's Program.
Mm-hmm.
And they offer some amazing courses for people who want to be ABA therapists, all different kinds of therapists in the medical field, educational field. They even have some parents that have gone through their ABA courses to learn ABA, which I think is awesome.
Right.
And so we really love this partnership with them because I think that they're doing a really good thing.
Yeah.
They are also the only university offering this, having us join and give our insight as parents.
Right.
So I think that's a great thing.
And it's not just in the special needs community that they do it. They also do it in other fields. They have professionals come in and do guest lecturing, people that are in the field doing that kind of thing. So that's a major resource that they're providing for their students, and then also for the educators, being able to provide information like this, like what do you do when adolescence hits, and because everything that we've done with Abigail so far has been a team effort.
Right.
It's not just with not just the parents at home dealing with it, and then we send her off to school, and then it's adolescence starts back up again once she gets back home. Like the teachers and therapists and everybody, they have to go through this as well as the student or child, and it's challenging. Abby gets in the car after school and it's a crapshoot. It's an absolute gamble whether she had a good day or a bad day, and a lot of that depends on Abigail's hormones, and it depends on what kind of mood she was because of whatever situation that happened at school or at home. So you just never know. You never know what you're going to get every day. So the teachers deal with that as well. That's a very important role that educators have along with parents. Is to have that communication back and forth, because you're going to need it. When your child comes home, you're like, what the heck happened at school that made them act this way when they got home?
Right.
Well, chances are nothing. That's how they were at school too, because they had an off morning or something else occurred. They thought of something and it just ruined their day. That's typical teenagers. I mean, that's just what happens. How many times do you call Isaiah on the phone? You're like, dude, what's with the attitude?
Yeah.
You did nothing to him. How was your day not good? No, I had a great day. Then why the attitude? Because that's just what kids do. Then you throw in to the mix of it a child that's nonverbal, and you can't say, what's your problem? and expect an answer. That's definitely been the hardest thing for us, I think.
Yeah.
We look at things, everything changes all of a sudden. Because before it was like, why did she have this meltdown? Let's figure out why. Now, half the time there is exactly half the time there is no why. It's just. But I think
again, that's typical for a girl. I can tell you, being a female, that's just typical.
Yeah.
I do want to bring up, you guys, you're gonna see Fishler College, Nova Southeastern University has all their information down in the comments section. And if you are interested in getting more information on their program, please reach out to them. Tell them you heard from them. About them through Fathering Autism, but they are in the comment section. If you have specific questions about their program, please ask, and someone down there will answer their question. If they can't answer, they'll find out the information for you. And just so you know, it's all online. So you don't have to be in Florida or down in South Florida to be part of their program. It's offered all over the world. The
students in their program, they sit in the comfort of their homes and they'll watch, like for example, they'll watch us talk as guest lecturers about a specific topic. Like we do the medical class, we do the early childhood development class, things like that. And it's been awesome. We love interacting with the students at that level. It's pretty cool to be able to make a difference in the world of future educators getting ready to go out, or even current educators who are going to get their masters, things like that, getting ready to go out and make a difference in possibly your child's world, to teach them. So we're very, very blessed to be a part of that. So LaSalle asked a question, okay, as far as, she did ask a question about menstrual cycle. So we've covered this before, and it's not something that definitely not something we want to cover in a live stream.
Yeah.
We've talked about just as far as our viewpoint on it. We actually have a video coming out soon that discusses that in a broad aspect, kind of because we know that's a question that a lot of people have. The thing of it is, we don't want to talk about it just because you're curious.
Right.
If you're a parent, that's something that's approaching, that you're going to be seeing very soon, then definitely message us, and we will do our best to get back to everyone. I don't want to. It's not really something that's like, I was just curious, so let's talk about it type of thing. But, I mean, that's a reality, without a doubt. I mean, that's real life, right? That's stuff that people have to deal with. And there are tactics and methods that parents use, and everybody has their own way of dealing with that. But, yeah, if you have questions on that because you have a child and you're looking at that issue,
Dr. Del Rio says it is a hard subject.
It's a hard subject, just because we do have to consider Abigail's privacy as well, you know?
So something I wanted to let you guys know is, I know here in Jacksonville, and I know they have it all over, is they have different programs if you are transitioning. Like for Abigail, the program that they're starting her with is for 14 and older. And then once she gets to like adult age, they're going to have a different program that she will transition to. Mm-hmm. So if you're in an area, make sure you contact, all you have to do is a Google search. Put in, I don't know what they would call it, but maybe transitioning to adulthood or transitioning to teenager,
right?
Special needs, something like that. And they're going to have programs all over, like almost like a vocational program. For Abigail's situation, they're going to have therapists that go into the workplace with her. And I know like your brother had, he has a coach that comes even now, right?
Right.
So Asa has a brother that has cerebral palsy, and he has a coach that comes and helps him with life things, like learning how to balance a checkbook, learning that, to how to go to the bank and write a check, how to purchase things, that kind of stuff. So
yeah. So Dr. Del Rio asked, how do we decide to move into
life skills?
Yeah, more life skills as opposed to a traditional school curriculum.
So with Abigail, once she hit middle school age, okay, so we keep saying like she's technically an 8th grader. So once she hit that 6th grade level, Abby was in classes just like Isaiah would take, math, English, science, and we just didn't see her progressing. She wasn't meeting her IEP goals. She didn't seem to be...
Sorry, vocational rehabilitation. That is right,
Thank
Samantha.
you, yes.
Thank you, Samantha.
She didn't seem to get that... she just didn't seem like she was happy, really.
Yeah.
She was just kind of, I don't know, just meandering through life almost.
Yeah.
Like she never got that successful feeling from
matching colors and stuff like that. It just...
And so the school
her.
Came to us, Jacksonville School for Autism came to us and said, hey, we really feel like we should maybe transition Abigail into the pre-vocational class. And at first it was hard, obviously, because everybody wants their child to be the best they can be, right? But for her, that is the best. And we had to stop looking at her like she's going to have a different path than Isaiah. Mm-hmm. And that's okay. So that was really where we decided to do that, and that was middle school. Not saying she doesn't do those kind of skills. Obviously, they have story time.
Right.
The teacher will ask questions. She'll go through with an iPad because all of the students in Abby's class are nonverbal, and so they will touch on the iPad and answer questions. So she still does academics, but it's mainly focused on life skills.
Right.
And that's going to make her have a better life, learning how to do those kind of things.
For sure. There was a question on here as far as Abigail, and I'm sorry I missed your name, but as far as her having a job later on, if that's something that we foresee happening, and yes, we do. We do see that happening coming up in the future. I'll be honest, I wasn't really on board with it, but the reason why is because I just want her to have a happy life, and my girl's kind of lazy. She doesn't like to work. And I want her to be happy, but I think that we can definitely find something that makes her happy. Something that's fulfilling. Yeah. So yes, vocational type job. And the thing of it is, as a parent's pride thing, I don't want her to have a job that someone just gives to her. I want it to be like any other job where she is of use to someone, Right. And I think that'll be more fulfilling for her, I don't know, maybe it has to do with, like, I don't want her to feel like she is just being accommodated at her
But I
job.
don't think she is, because she loves, I mean, when we go and we observe her in the class,
Yeah.
she loves, like, doing tasks and getting the praise for it.
Right.
And so I think, and that's one of the good things about the program she's going to be in, is they're not going to make, like, all the kids go to Publix, or everybody has to work at this place, or they all have to work at this place.
Right.
They're going to be spread
right, Kathy,
out.
a job with meaning.
Yeah, they're going to be spread out, and they want to decide, they want the kids to decide, like, what job they like the best. So I really like that part.
Yep.
I have a question here from Becky Campbell. She said, are you planning on getting guardianship of Abby when she's 18? If so, how would you do that? I have 2 ASD kids. I have been looking into it, but I can't find anything.
It's a really good question.
It is a very good question. So yes, we will. Abby will not probably, I mean, she's 14 now, so it's only 4 years away, would not be able to make decisions for herself. And it's funny you asked, because we were talking about all of this today.
We were.
So yes, we will be getting guardianship of Abigail. Basically what you need to do is you need to find a lawyer in your area that can go basically to court for you. And we have a couple of friends that have just gone through this, and I don't know if it's the area or if it's the same across the board, but here in Jacksonville and Duval County, they actually have you get the child reevaluated to make sure they still have autism, which obviously for some kids that might be necessary, but for someone like Abigail, I don't think that's going to be necessary. I think she's going to be the same Abigail we all know today.
And like, I understand it, because the idea is to protect the individual, so
Right.
that people aren't trying to have control over their lives, essentially. But in situations like ours, you kind of gotta laugh. You're like,
Yeah.
oh, okay.
Yeah.
But I get it.
Yeah. So contact a lawyer that does guardianships in your area, and they should be able to help you out. And I feel like it's going to be like $500 to $800 to get it done.
Yeah.
Just so you know.
Have we considered support housing at any time in the future for Abigail?
No, not me.
We differ on so many things. Yes and no. Because traditionally, from what I've seen from support housing, not saying that they're bad, it's just not an environment that I would want Abigail in. And yes, of course, there's horror stories and stuff like that, and there's bad ones. But that's not the ones I'm talking about. I'm talking about just in general, like, I don't want her to be warehoused ever. Like, if there's a place where they have, like, year-round swimming and golf cart riding and music blasting out of every speaker, then yeah, I could totally see that.
I'm trying to think of somewhere like that.
I think that at some
maybe like
point,
a Sandals Resort in
I think
Jamaica
that
or
at some
something.
point we could find a location that Abigail would truly enjoy. That's all I'm saying.
So I'm going to say no, because I want Abigail to be with us for as long as possible, and then when she's not able to be with us, my goal is to have a caregiver live with Abigail to help her. So she'll have her little private, have her little, almost like a roommate, with somebody that helps her out.
Well, and I'm thinking more advanced into the future, not when we are still around.
But even when at that point, I want it to be someone who will want to be with her 24/7.
The ultimate plan is to make a whole bunch of money so we can just, do our own thing for her, and she can have just the most amazing, best life ever, and put a whole bunch of money away for her in a trust.
Yeah.
And Isaiah's going to manage. So please watch all the ads on our videos, because that helps us. Really,
but
that's genuinely what it is.
Jen? So Jen from Rebranding Autism lives in I don't even know how to explain it. So she lives in a cabin, right, on a piece of property with other people with special needs. But she has a respite person, a caregiver, with her 24/7, even though she says, I don't need this. But they're with her, and they become her best friends. And that's what I see for Abigail.
Yeah.
Maybe not even in a facility like that, but someone that will just become her best friend.
Right, and I can totally see that too.
Like if Summer doesn't get married and have her own kids, her and Abby could be roommates forever. That could be a thing.
Right. So either Isaiah or
Yeah.
Summer need to not get married so they can take
Right.
care of it. Yeah, good question. You know, that is definitely something that's difficult. You know, it's something that every parent faces. You know, they're like, what's gonna happen? What am I gonna do with my kid when they're no longer a kid and I'm no longer here or I'm no longer capable? You know, and it changes. It does change. Believe me. Through the years, you're like, you know, things will change because your child's going to develop and things are going to be different. I want to talk about autism and puberty for a second, and as far as change goes, it's not all bad. I mean, we've seen so much progress in her just because of maturity, because she has matured. Her progress has definitely increased, and of course that has to do with where she's at. You know, she started hitting puberty at 11, so 3 years ago, but she started at JSA 5 years ago. So it wasn't just the environment, it wasn't a specific therapist. You know, her ABA therapist would also started with her 5 years ago, but in recent years we've really seen her just pole vaulting over anything we put in front of her. Like, okay, here's her new goal that she needs to master, and she nails it. And she's learning so fast. So along with all the horrors of puberty, and like I said, I don't want to scare you, it's rough though, you'll survive. Along with that comes some really great moments. A lot of really great moments. You know, you're going to be surprised what your kid's capable of as they start to mature.
So here in Florida, I saw somebody said that they can put money away. In Florida, we have what they call the ABLE account, and you can put away $15,000 a year for your child. It will, if they're on like, if they're, okay, so I say child, but I mean adult as well. As long as they've had the diagnosis before they turn 26, you can put money away, and they wouldn't, like if they're getting SSI when they become 18, it wouldn't affect that. And it won't be taxed. So you can put $15,000 away. You can have grandparents or family and friends, like if they don't know what to buy them for a present, say, hey, just put money in their ABLE account. And that's money that you guys can, you know, put away for your child for future use. Yeah. So, okay, PA has the ABLE accounts as well. Okay, so, and they may not be called ABLE accounts everywhere, but research it. You guys, Google, when it comes to this kind of stuff, Google is going to be like your best friend. For sure. For here, we have the Center for Autism and Related Disabilities, and they do a lot of training, and they have a lot of information that they can give to parents. Well, I was going to say parent discussion groups, support groups, stuff like that, like on Facebook. Of course, a lot of the stuff is just, you know, people needing a place to vent, so they go there for that. But there's also a lot of really good resources. You're always going to have a few people in each group that know everything about everything, like Priscilla does. So Dr. Del Rio said, okay, so their healthcare issues class that they have at NSU, they actually discuss a lot of these same issues, as well as their legal and ethical issues class. So that's awesome. I love that. That's good information. Yeah, because this stuff is always, you know, so you get someone that got their master's at NSU, then you're golden. You know, you just go talk to them because they know everything about everything. Arizona has the ABLE account. Perfect. Okay. So irrevocable trust. Irrevocable trust. Okay. So and then I don't know. Every state has a med waiver program or waiver program. It's going to be different for every state, but I think, what was the website? Like medwaiver.org. Yeah. You type in your state, and they'll tell you what resources are available. I know Minnesota has a really good one. Florida has a good one, but we have a really long waiting list. Are ABLE accounts transferable state to state? I think it's federal. I'm pretty sure it's federal. When I looked it up, I thought it said Florida. Okay. So Jessica Robinson said, how do you get Abby to keep up with hygiene? I have a 20-year-old autistic cousin who struggles with hygiene. Oh, well, Abby, I feel you. Abby loves baths. So how do I get my 18-year-old son to keep up? No, I'm joking. He's actually a clean kid. But, you know, the young people in general, they're just stinky humans. They really are. I think you just have to remind them, if you have therapists, you know, that's something that like a coach or a mentor would help them with. For sure. And if you get them enrolled in these different programs, guys, before they're 18, a lot of times it really helps them with the transition period. Mm-hmm. And that's I don't know what level they focus on here big time. Like, get them signed up before they're 18. Right. I don't know what level your cousin is at, but you know, like Priscilla said, a coach or mentor would be a great
resource for that. Because, you know, just somebody other than their cousin or their parent or someone to say, like, hey man, did you forget to brush your teeth before we walked out? You know, and that's a real thing. Like, that's, you know, a loved one in my life. Like, that's something that they have a mentor for. That's important. For those little things that make all the difference, you know. And just actually schedules too. Schedules are a lifesaver. Visual schedules for anybody, doesn't matter they're verbal, nonverbal. They've been using visual schedules for kids for years. And then, you know, the development of them in the autism community, like a visual schedule, step by step. Do this every day. Do it twice a day because you live in Florida and it's hot here. Whatever, you know.
So you could type in ABLE account, and then I'm assuming wherever state you are. Ours is ableunited.com, and that's specifically for Florida. So
yes, her own pictures for visual schedule. Yes, we use pictures that Abigail is going to recognize immediately because it helps her to learn it quicker rather than trying to figure out what each image is, like the stick figure PECS style images.
That's our goal, is to get her into these different work programs. Her school is also trying to build a community right now, and you know, I don't have a problem with taking her to like a day program and having her go and do things there, and that way she can socialize with people. But you know, we take Abby out all the time. Our goal is also to travel with her, and so that will help her socialize, because the girl loves to go.
Yes, she does. So. Yes, she does. So Leah Hansen, another awesome question here. So my son will take a shower every night at his dad's, but at my house I struggle to get him there. Any way to help get him comfortable so he will shower nightly? So what I would recommend, I don't know how comfortable your relationship is with his dad, so this could be tough. You need to find out what's working in that house and transferred over to your house. As uncomfortable as it might be, as, I don't know, maybe you're like giving into like, yeah, you're doing it better than me with this one thing, just let me learn type. I don't know your situation. I'm not gonna pretend like I do, but I can understand how that'd be uncomfortable. But you know, just, you know, try to figure out the differences. What's different between here and there? How does he handle how does his dad handle shower time? You know, how does that whole situation go down? Take a notepad and, like, you know, the environment, the type of shower that he's in, the body wash that he's using, or shampoo or soap, whatever. Try to figure out what the difference is and add those. You know, you don't want to try to adjust your entire life to accommodate in every situation, because that's just not realistic. It's not going to work. But you could add one item at a time and see if that changes things. It's kind of like changing meds. You know, you don't change everything at once. You don't just throw everything at them and never know what fixed something. You know, you definitely want to do one thing at a time and see if you can get those showers to be a little easier.
So Dr. Del Rio says graduated exposure via ABA and reinforcement could help to identify the aversive triggers at your home. So that makes sense. Are you thinking?
I am, yeah. Yeah, because, you know, you ABA therapists are always thinking on the negative sides. I'm thinking on the positives. What makes him want to take a shower, not necessarily what is adversive to him taking a shower.
Yeah, but there might be something.
There could be.
I mean, like with Abigail, she struggles like with going up the stairs. And so that could mess her up doing something, not our stairs, but if she were somewhere else, it could mess her up doing something where you're like, wait a minute, on this ABA goal, she's succeeding. Like, she mastered it.
That's okay. She liked I saw her hit that like button, so it was okay. Okay, so as far as graduated exposure via ABA, what that means is it's going to be a step-by-step process. You're trying to get him closer and closer and closer to figure out what that aversion is. You know, where does it actually go awry? Instead of like, let's go take a shower, you're doing like one step at a time, you know, type of thing, to get him into that situation. Closer and closer to the tub and cleanliness. What is ABA therapy? There you go, Doc. There's your question.
Let's let Dr. Del Rio give the scientific definition.
Let's do it. Your glasses really suit you. Thank you.
Oh, thank you. So
Is Abby scared of Walmart? Not anymore. You got to watch today's vlog.
We have several different concentrations.
That's true. That's a very generic reply. There are several different concentrations. So as far as ABA and how it applies to Abigail, how it applies to making her world bigger and her life better. Desensitization to environmental triggers that might cause meltdowns, that kind of thing. That's a very small part of it. That's something that we do. For example, going to Walmart. We've been going to the parking lot of Walmart for the last 2 years now, and only a couple times actually make it into Walmart. We used to go to the grocery store, for example. It'd be nice for Abigail to learn to be able to handle going into the grocery store. Mm-hmm. So, and this is a better way for me to explain ABA therapy as far as what it does for Abby. We would go into the grocery store for like 3 minutes. We'd try to purchase one item in those 3 minutes and get out the door without having any kind of negative reaction to it from her, or at least she can control herself as we go into the grocery store for those 3 minutes. And then the next time you might do it again because maybe the first time it didn't go so well, but the next time she's like, oh, well, this doesn't take long at all. I'll be fine. And so the next time, then the time after that, we might up it to 5 minutes. The whole time, like, you're doing great, kid. You're doing great. You're doing a good job. So what we're doing is we're desensitizing. We're teaching her that she does have control over her environment, allowing her to communicate, hey, I want to go. Okay, 1 minute. Pick that up, put it on the belt to check out, then we can go, that type of thing. It's teaching her type of behaviors, as far as that the world doesn't revolve around a preteen, teaching her that as well. So all of these things that she's learning through it, and it's making her world a bigger place because now she can go to a grocery store. She can go shopping with us for a full shopping trip at a grocery store, and she can handle it sensory-wise because she's desensitized. She can handle it behaviorally because she knows what to do, and she can actually help. So this is increasing the quality of her life because she'll be able to grocery shop for her own stuff later on, like with a caregiver, like we talked about. So in our world, that's a big part of what ABA therapy does. It teaches her to wash herself in the tub. It teaches her how to use the restroom. It teaches her how to feed herself. Yeah. So
Dr. Del Rio says a behavioral method that focuses on utilizing reinforcement and consequences in order to increase positive behaviors and decrease negative or maladaptive behaviors. So that is the scientific.
Science.
There you go. So I'm going to... and it can incorporate naturalistic teaching or discrete trial training. So if you guys have seen our potty training video, like some of the things that we talk about in there is the countdown method. We did discrete trial training on that forever. And guys, I was so excited because the other day we took her to the doctor and they wanted to get her temperature and she never will do the thermometer in her mouth. And it just came to me and I was like, oh, I should do the countdown method. Of course, the lady's machine kept moving all over the place, but it was gonna work. And so I was counting down and Abby kept it in her mouth the whole time. Same thing with wearing a hat or putting sunglasses on. So all of those things we've learned through ABA for Abigail.
Yeah.
So we've had a couple of people, maybe we have some new people that have jumped on that have asked about menstrual cycle. Just to put it out there, we're not going to discuss it about Abigail. I can tell you what I would recommend is talking to an endocrinologist, getting a plan in place before it happens with your daughter. And if you don't like that, you can always go to an OBGYN, okay? But just have a plan in place. That would be my biggest tip for you. Go speak to an endocrinologist, and they can tell you every option that you have available. Okay.
That's what we did.
That's what we did. Yes.
Early. Go early so you have a plan.
Oh, my glasses. So I don't wear them all the time. I just have to wear them when I'm reading comments because I can't read the comments. Ooh, what are things I should look for when choosing an ABA company? So for us, we needed somebody that was...
If they're an NSU graduate.
There you go. If they graduated from NSU, you're good. Doesn't matter where they work. No. For us, it was someone that we could feel comfortable around, obviously, because you are up close and personal with your therapist. For, with Brandy, she's been Abby's therapist for 5 years now. Almost 6, I think. And she's in our house every single week. She's seen the good, the bad, the ugly, all of the things in between. But when we picked her and her company, it was who is willing to, first of all, we wanted in-home therapy because Abby did not need, she didn't need clinical therapy. We needed help at home. We had behaviors at home that we couldn't handle. And that was our big thing. And I know it's hard to find those, but that was one of our things. The other thing is if they are going to let you be involved. You know, one of the biggest parts of ABA therapy is parent training and follow through. The therapy is not going to work if you don't follow through at home. I don't care.
I would say it's the number one thing.
I don't care if your kid gets 2 hours a week or 40 hours a week.
Right.
If you're at home with them and you're not following through with whatever the treatment plan is that the therapists are giving you, it's not going to work. So you have to have a company that is willing to show you, because our goal is that we don't have to have Brandy. You know, I mean, we're trying to not need her, and we've been able to reduce her hours because we do follow through with it, and they're going to know if you follow through with it or not. Like, you can't get around that.
Yes,
So-
Mary, NSU does have online
Yep.
degrees. That's what they do, is online degrees. All right, guys, thanks so much
Thank
for hanging out
you.
with this live stream. You guys have such incredible questions, and you really keep it going. We love it. All right, see you guys next time.
Bye, guys.
Thanks for watching our extremely long live stream. I hope you guys enjoyed it and got some information from it. You know, if it's something that gave you value, please hit that thumbs up button. I sound like I'm like
You're like a commercial for
tonight.
NSU.
That's really weird. Okay, so I'll leave the link for NSU down below so you guys can check that out. And thanks for watching this. I know
Thank
you know you obviously didn't get to watch it live, but maybe next time. But you can leave your questions down below in the comments, and there's a good chance we might pick some of those to answer once we go live again on the next stream. Ooh, we can answer them on Instagram. Follow us on Instagram. Okay, bye.
Bye.